بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome all of you wherever you are. And welcome you again with this program of explanation of the Quran. This is the sixth lecture in a series of explaining Surah Al-Fatih. We start with Allah Azza wa Jal saying, after seeking his refuge from the Shaitan al-Rajim, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, they are the ones that disbelieved, and they prevented you from entering the Masjid al-Haram, and the live animals stayed away from its place. These disbelievers from Quraysh are the ones who refused the monotheism, the oneness of Allah, and they prevented you, all believers in Allah, from entering the Masjid al-Haram. They are the disbelievers without any others, because of their disbelief and their declaration of war against Allah and His Messenger, and prevention of the path of Allah and prevention of the Masjid al-Haram. They are the one who disbelieved, and they prevented you from the Masjid al-Haram. The reality is, it is you who deserve this Masjid al-Haram. You are the one who deserve him. And why Allah will not punish them? And they are the one preventing people from the Masjid al-Haram. And they were not as guardians. The guardians are the ones who fear him, who are God conscious. But a lot of them don't know. And the live animals are prevented. They are stopped from entering this place where it should be slaughtered in the sake of Allah, because of their stubbornness and their arrogance. The arrogance of the disbelievers. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had brought with him, when he came to Mecca, in his 70 camels. And Allah said, and it was not for believers, men and women. They were among the disbelievers, but they has kept their faith. They were weak, they kept their faith away. They were afraid for themselves from their people. If it wasn't for those people, we would have put you on them and wiped them out. But Allah Azza wa Jal, because of His knowledge of the existence of some believers who hid their faith, you did not know them. And if you hurt them, then you will get a sin and hardship, harm. So Allah don't want you to touch and harm some believers, men and women, if you entered Mecca on His people. Otherwise Allah would have but He prevented from entering Mecca, so He will enter in His mercy whomever He wish. So Allah will enter in His mercy in Islam from the people of Mecca whomever He wish, and He will prevent them from the hellfire, and also to protect those weak believers, men and women who are weak among the people of Quraysh. Then Allah said, if they were different, the believers that you did not know, if they are and they left them, and they left from among them, then Allah would have punished those who disbelieve severely. We would have killed the rest of those disbelievers, and we would have destroyed them with what is painful from the punishment of this life. So Allah will enter in His mercy whomever He wish. We would have put you on them, and then we could have killed them all. If you wonder, one of the narrations, there were 9, 7 men and 2 women. Look at the importance of bloodshed to Allah Azza wa Jal, that He did not want those to be harmed. Allah prevented the believers from killing and entering Mecca at that time to save 9 people. The blood of the believer, it is great in the sight of Allah, and it is a protection to Allah and His Messenger. And every Muslim on the Muslim is forbidden his blood, his wealth, and his honor. So you cannot even end the war. So if the disbelievers took some of the Muslims, not to fight them except in the tightest of circumstances, to make sure that you don't harm them. And then Allah said, and He made those who disbelieved, He put that arrogance of the Jahiliyyah, the past, which is the Shaykh is trying to explain in Arabic the meaning of a word. Like you feel like you are dishonored if you done something or something happened. So their problem that they don't want to admit that the Prophet ﷺ is a messenger of Allah. To start with the name of Allah Azza wa Jal, to prevent the believer from entering Mecca forcefully. And the one who was that arrogant at that time was Suhaib ibn Amr, that Allah concluded with him with the happiness later on. The Bukhari mentions Suhaib ibn Amr came to, he said, write between us a book, a letter or a covenant. So he alayhi salatu called Ali Rabbi upon him. Please, Allah be pleased with him. He said, say in the name of Allah, Rahman Rahim. He said, the Ar-Rahman, I don't know what that, but with the name of your Allah. The Muslim said, no, except in the name of Allah, the merciful, graceful. The Prophet ﷺ said, write in your name, O Allah. This is what Muhammad ﷺ agreed on. So he said, if we knew that you are a messenger of Allah, we would not prevent you from the house, or we will not fight you. But say, Muhammad ibn Abdullah. So the Prophet ﷺ said, by Allah, I am his messenger, even you deny it. Write Muhammad, son of Abdullah. That's why Allah said, by Allah, the one who hears my whole soul, they will not ask me anything. They will glorify Allah's rules and boundaries. I will give it to them. So he, alayhi salatu wasalam, was continuing to live between us and the house so we could make the tawaf. He said, no, we will not allow. So the Arab will not say that we will take forcefully. He said, okay, the next year. That historic mark, it made great for the Khawarij when they went at the time of Ali. Ibn Abbas says, when they went, so they stayed in a place and there were 6,000. So I said, Ali, oh, person believers, slow the salah, let me go and talk to them. He said, I'm afraid for you. He said, no, inshallah. So Ibn Abbas said, so I took the best of my dress of Yemen and I went. And I went in their house in the day of that day, and they were eating or they were sleeping. They said, welcome, Ibn Abbas, what is this dress? He said, I said, I saw in the Prophet ﷺ, what is better of the dresses? And Allah said, who stopped Allah's beauty that Allah has given from the sustenance? It is for the believers in this life, purely in the hereafter. They said, okay, why you came with? He said, I came with the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, the migrants and the Ansar, and from the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, and on them the Quran know, and they know the interpretation from you. and none of you is among them. I came to tell you what they are saying, and I'll tell them what you are saying. He said, don't fight Quraysh. Allah said, and Ibn Abbas saying, I haven't came to people more worshippers than them. They stand the whole night in prayers. Some of the people left, some stayed. So Ibn Abbas said, why you are angry on the companions of the Prophet ﷺ and his cousin? They said, three. What are they? The first one, he made people to, and indeed the rule is to Allah. Why people? He said, this is one they have against him. The second one, he said he fought and did not make siba and did not take the money. If they disbelievers, then it is okay. If they are believers, they should not fight them. Okay, that's second. What's the third one? They said if he's not the believer of the believers, he is the prince of the disbeliever. They said that's it. I said okay. He said, if I give you from the book of Allah what is a reply to you and the sunnah of the Muslim, what returned us, would you go back? They said yes. So I told them, but you're saying that he allowed the men in the matter of Allah. I recite to you from the Quran that Allah has put his rule to the rule on a rabbit with quarter of a dirham. Don't you see Allah saying, oh, who you believe, do not kill the hunting in the month of sacred, and the rules is ruled by the wa'adl, by people of so he made the men to rule on it. So Allah is the one who did that. So I'll tell you, is the rule of the men in getting people together and to prevent their bloodshed, or in a rabbit? They said, of course, this is better. Then he said, for the woman and her husband, if you are afraid of a dispute between them, let's have one arbiter from her side, the one from his side. If they were good, they will be ruled. So by Allah, is the rule of the men is better than or from a woman? They said yes. And he said, so are we finished from the first one? They said yes. He said, but he thought he did not make siba. And do you take siba of your mother Aisha? Do you allow in it what you like others? If you say that you yes we do, then you disbelieve in Allah. And if you said she is not our mother, she is, then you are disbelieved. The Prophet is more power on the believers than themselves. So you are between two astray. So come with a way out. So they looked and they said, okay, we're out. We don't have any problem with this one. Then he said that he prevented himself from the prince of the believers. Well, don't you hear the Prophet ﷺ on the day of Hudaybiyah? He took the covenant with the dispute, and he said, oh Ali, right, this is what Muhammad has agreed with them, Prophet of Allah. They said, if we know that you are a Prophet, we will not fight you. So he, alayhi salatu wasalam, why bet? Allah knows that I am your messenger. Why bet, oh Ali? And this is what Muhammad has agreed on with the disbelievers. the Prophet of Allah is better than Ali, and what he did not take him out of prophethood when he wiped that statement out. That did not take him out of prophethood. So, do you honor that one? They said yes. So, a lot of them went back 2000, and then the rest were killed on their disbelief. So Allah brought the harmony on their heart and the word of monotheism of La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu. And the disbelievers before, if they said La ilaha illallah, they will be arrogant. But the people of faith, they are the people of La ilaha illallah. Allah Azza wa Jal gave them the word of piety, and they deserve it and more prior to it. The disbelievers were arrogant from it before, and the day of Hudaybiyah, it was said the piety is sincerity, and it is La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, للمركز الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. And all of it is just sayings that are close. The last word that we should not miss and stress in this statue, that's Suhail ibn Amr, who debate at the day of Hudaybiyah. He refused to admit, and he don't want to even agree on the Rahman, the graceful, and he insisted that the Muslim will not perform Umrah that year, and that will be the next year. So you know that he embraced Islam, and he became a good Muslim, and he was in the Battle of Yarmouk, and he was praying a lot and charity. Allah be pleased with him. From his news, when the Prophet ﷺ entered Mecca, he ran away with a lot of leaders of Mecca. His son was among the army of conquering Mecca with the Prophet ﷺ. The father is running in the disbelievers, and his son is among the fighters of Islam to free Mecca. So he said, I stayed in my house and I closed my door, and I sent to my son Abdullah ibn Suhail. As I said, he was among the fighters of Islam. I asked protection from Muhammad. I'm afraid that I will be killed. And I fought Badr and Uhud against the Muslims. So his son went to the Prophet. He said, do you give him protection? He said, yes. He is in the protection of Allah. Let him expose himself. Not only that, but he said, whoever met him, don't look at him with a bad look. Like not to remind him of Al-Hudaybiyah or to remind him anything. So the Prophet ﷺ don't want nobody to look him down when they see him. He was afraid it will happen, even if it is by looking. So he said, from what is narrated, whomever met Suhail ibn Amr, do not put down at him. The same thing when he prevented the companions to curse the dead of the disbelievers whose sons has embraced Islam, and they became among the leaders of the Muslim army. He said, do not curse the dead, so he could hurt the alive, talking about Ikrimah ibn Jahl, and he is the leader of the Battle of Yarmouk, and he was one of the battalions. He was a martyr among those who died at that battle. And Allah Azza wa Jal on Khalid ibn al-Walid, who became the leader and who won that battle. May Allah have peace and blessing and tranquility on our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to follow him. Inshallah, we'll continue next time. Subhanakallah bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka